my book has a lot of fruit in it. So every time I eat fruit, I put it in my video. Okay. Put it in the sand. Yeah. Cell reveal.
Wow.
Like, whoa!
Ah!
He's coming out to say hi. Oh my god, hi. Hello, everyone. So you may have noticed over the past 2 weeks, there has been this gaping hole on AuthorTube because I hadn't posted. And I'm just here to announce that you're safe now, and I'm back. I got sick, and then the sickness turned into a sinus infection, and I've never had a sinus infection before. And I still think I sound kind of sick, but I just feel so great. And I was like, let me get back out there. I'm Jay. I'm writing a literary fiction book, and I call it the Shark Book on this channel. If you are interested, my whole journey of writing it is on the channel. But if you don't want to go do homework, I will catch you up. I'm in the middle of this really big rewrite, and I'm writing very cleanly. And when I'm finished with this draft, I'm going to send it to beta readers. And my goal that I think I'm going to reach, and I'll talk about that in a second, but my goal is to start querying it in 2027. I am very slow at writing. You know this if you've watched my videos before, but an average word count day for me is like 1 to 500, not 1,000. 1 to 500 is very typical. If I ever get more than 500, it's because I copied and pasted something I had already written. So secretly, and also I think I've talked about it, but I just was really worried that this book was going to take me forever and ever to write. And I didn't even want to go do the math of if my average word count, say it's like 300 every day, I didn't even want to go do the math and find out how many days that would take me because I was like, it's just going to hurt my feelings. But recently, I realized I have a lot more finished than I thought because I'm kind of jumping around the draft, so sometimes it's hard to keep track. But while I was sick, I took the time to go and organize all of my finished words, and it's more than I thought, which is to say it's like 6,000. But like I have like 20,000 drafted, like really close to being done. It's not perfect, so I'm not counting it, but like I have about 26,000. And I think this book will be about 50,000 words. And so I was doing the math, and I was so encouraged by the numbers that I found. I think it's going to take me maybe like 4 more months to finish it. That feels like a realistic timeline. And it's almost June. So June to July. So I should finish it in October, hopefully, which would be great. And then I could give it to beta readers. And yeah, I think it's all going to work out, which I was just feeling so encouraged by. I actually even feel like 50,000 feels like it's pushing it. Like it might not even be 50,000 words, but it has to be because otherwise it's a novella, not a novel. I think I should be okay to hit 50,000, but the point is this book is definitely going to be a short one. It's going to be a little book, which I love, a little literary fiction book that just packs a punch. Like I some of my favorite books are short literary fiction books. So I'm not worried about it in terms of like how I'm going to feel about the book, but obviously I want to query it, and I was like, is this book going to be too short? Like is this going to be a problem for agents? And then I had to talk myself out of worrying about that. And I decided actually that I think the shorter the better these days. And this is based on no evidence at all. But I just feel like our attention spans are so bad that an agent would see a short word count like, oh, 50,000 word literary fiction book. Let me give it a chance. I mean, whatever. And then I feel like publishers will be like, oh, that's like barely any paper to print that. Let me just buy it. That's my hope. I don't know. So yeah, I've been making good progress while I've been away. I recently have been writing scenes that are not depressing. This book is pretty sad, I would say. I really like it, but I hope people cry when they read it. And some of my favorite scenes are just the really depressing ones. So I've been jumping around working on those. But I think since I was sick and I was kind of down in the dumps, I needed a refresher. So I was writing scenes where my two main characters, did I say what this book's about? It's about childhood friendship. And I was writing about my two main characters when they're young and they're just like teenage boys and they're funny. And I was just writing scenes like before bad things happen. and it was so refreshing. And I sent some of the scenes to my sister because I sent her like all my writing, and she was like, wow, it's so nice to see them happy. And I was like, yeah. I'm writing another sad scene though. I'm done now. I'm It's time to get back to the good stuff. I think the reason I like the happy scenes is because they're going to make the sad scenes way more sad, because I keep forgetting because I'm just jumping around like writing the scenes out of order. But I keep forgetting, like, by the time we're getting to this, like, by the time we get to the end of the book, we're going to have gone through this whole journey with them, with the boys chronologically. And I just feel like everything's going to hit. I'm just feeling so good. If you're new here, I love my book. Yeah, it was a journey to get here, but I love my book. I think it's amazing. All right, I'm going to go write. Oh, the scene I'm writing right now is before the midpoint. We're getting close to the midpoint. Things are ramping up. It is a sad scene, just like really specific fruit imagery. Like, I'm talking about like the strands of pith on a clementine. Yeah, riveting stuff. I'm writing some pretty riveting stuff today. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, bye.
Ooh, that's nice. Good catch. I'm gonna copyright this, but it's what?
Today, I was feeling very charitable, and I thought, let me give my subscribers some dialogue tips. Because even though I've never shared any of my writing, they are dying to be like me and they want my tips. So I'm going to give you my tips. I think dialogue is probably what I'm best at. And that's saying a lot because I'm really good at a lot of things. I love my dialogue. I think it always feels really natural when I write it, and I just write way too much dialogue all the time because I'm just having a good time doing it. Oh my God. Did you hear how I just said time 2 times in like 2 sentences? This brings me to my first tip. Don't line edit your dialogue in the same way that you line edit the rest of your book, because people don't have a line editor. And when they're talking, they make mistakes. They say grammatical errors, like they'll say, I'm doing really good today, not I'm doing really well, and just like stupid things like that. Or they'll say the same word a couple times really close together, like 2 times within the same sentence or a couple sentences. Just things like that. And I realized when I started leaving those things alone, because I would notice them because they're like an error in writing. So I'd be like, oh no, he said sun twice in the same sentence. And it's like, that's fine. Like, maybe he did. Yeah. So things that are wrong, they might be wrong, but for dialogue, maybe they're right. You know what I'm saying? Okay, number 2, keep in mind when you are writing a conversation that this is the first time your characters are having the conversation. You might go through several drafts, editing it, getting it more concise, more polished, but that's not real life. Like, when you're talking, you don't know what you're saying. Like right now, I did not script this. I keep saying I keep saying like, and I keep searching for the right words and pausing. And I make sure my characters do that all the time. I really like using hyphens, or are they em dashes? I like using em dashes where characters will be talking and they'll cut themselves off and start a new sentence. See, now I'm saying a lot, but I feel like I should keep it in to keep it authentic. So yes, I often say and like, and I have my characters correct themselves or kind of elaborate on what they're saying. So they'll say their idea, but they don't get it perfectly. They don't express it perfectly the first time. So then they're like, and then they'll like say it a different way kind of thing. And then also sometimes I like the characters to misunderstand each other, but it's not like a misunderstanding trope. It's just someone saying something and then the person responds and then the other person's like, no, I mean, like, sorry, like, that's not what I meant. Like, I meant like this, whatever. Just things like that where it's not polished and it's not rehearsed. And it shouldn't feel like two characters in a play. It can just be like two people talking. And this is coming from a literary fiction perspective where all I do is write about people talking to each other. So that's why I feel like this is important. I don't know in genre fiction if you can be hitting them with a million ums and likes, but like maybe you can. Number 3, I just wrote relax. And what I mean by this is, okay, in the past, I would try to make a conversation like achieve multiple things. I was like, okay, they need to touch on this topic and they need to touch on this topic. Just for the plot, we need to move it along. But those two topics were not related to each other at all. And I feel like I hear writers talk about this all the time where they can't figure out how to get from point A to point B naturally because it just doesn't make sense for somebody to get, or like for multiple people to get there, like to make that jump in such a short amount of time. I feel like in real life, when you're talking to someone, if it's a quick couple minute conversation, you're mostly like talking about one thing. And if you're going to talk about multiple things, it's going to be a long conversation that naturally unfolds. And usually in a book, you're not reading pages and pages and pages of dialogue. So I have found that when I'm writing a conversation, I'm like, this is what it's going to accomplish, one thing. But obviously sometimes the plot needs to move forward. So another tip, if you do need to make a conversation connect two things that are not related, just acknowledge it and make it, like, use it to your advantage. Like, for example, one character can be talking about the first thing and like have that established. And then the second character can kind of come out of nowhere with the second thing, but it can be a choice and the other character can acknowledge like, oh, that came out of nowhere. Don't like say that. Don't say that. Like, you can use abrupt changes to show that maybe a character wasn't paying attention to the conversation because they had this other thing on their mind. Or there could be other ways that you could acknowledge it, but just don't make someone say this random sentence that's just a segue to get to the next idea, because then it's like, no one, like, you lost me. Like, this character would never say that. It's just serving a purpose. Like, if the character is acting out of character, find a way to make the plot development you need to do, like, find a way to have that happen, but your characters still remain authentic to themselves. Feel free to use my tips and put me in the acknowledgments of your books and say, Jay, you are so beautiful. Okay, bye.
Not my Tamagotchi.
Yes, it is of the times. God, family photo. Perfect. Thank you for. Hi. I just filmed a whole clip and my phone was off. So I didn't film a whole clip. I just rehearsed it. So the scene I was writing, or that I started working on yesterday, the one about the fruit, I did finish it today. And it's really good. So there was an author tuber, I think it was Chris, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it was Chris who was doing a Q&A, and somebody asked, how do you know when your book is ready to query? And one of the things that she said was, if you're a perfectionist, you should query it when you think it's 95% there. If you're waiting for it to be perfect, it's just never going to happen and you're never going to get out there. I just always think of that when I'm writing my scenes because I'm definitely a perfectionist. And so sometimes, like with the fruit scene that I just finished, I'll finish a scene and there's like nothing wrong with it that I can see. It's not even there's a problem I'm trying to diagnose. I'm just reading it and I'm like, but what if there's a better metaphor? Or like, what if I need to rephrase all of my sentences because there's a just totally different way I could take this scene and then it would be way better. And like, that's totally true. Like, maybe. Yes, if I spend forever, like if I spend a year on every vignette will be really good, but then I'll die before the book's even done. So yeah, there comes a point when you just have to like wrap it up. So that's what I did. So I finished the scene. I like it. And yeah, it's really good. And then I decided to move on to the beginning of the book. And I have been avoiding the beginning of the book because I'm terrified. I want to query it. And I'm just like, I am going to scare the agents away. I'm going to be so boring. They're going to hate it. I'm going to do the wrong thing, whatever. Like there's a lot of pressure because I think my book as a whole is really good. And I just don't want to mess up the beginning and then just like no one gets to read the whole thing because like I messed it up and I like lost people in the beginning. So I've been putting a lot of pressure on it. I do have the beginning, like the very first, I'd say like 150 words, kind of set in stone. Because similar to the thing I was talking about earlier of getting overwhelmed by all the different possibilities and ways you could take it, I knew that I just needed to pick a beginning because otherwise it would just haunt me forever. So I have a beginning that I think is good. It introduces our main character Sawyer and it kind of sets up his character, I guess, for the book. I don't know. Like I think it's good. I'm set. I'm what's the word? I'm content with that. But it was more just the next vignette that I was always like so conflicted about because I wanted to build off of what like the intrigue that we get from that first vignette. I want it to build. I want it to be even more compelling. And I want it to feel like momentum, even though like it's not a super action-packed book. I still want it to like build intrigue. So today I was finally like, I just need to pick something. I have a bunch of vignettes like in a different document that I've written and they're good, but I'm like, they're not good enough. Like, I can't, it's not perfect. And I was finally like, these are good. I just need to put one in. So I decided that the second vignette is going to be the first time my boys meet, but it's not the start of their friendship. There's like a whole scene where it's like the start of their friendship, but this scene is a year before and it's just like a little interaction that they have. And I went with it. I decided I'm just going to go chronologically and that's going to like help me with my decision fatigue. I'm just going to be like this happened first. I'm going to put it first. I really like it. I think it like it's what am I trying to say? I'm not surprised that I wrote it because I've like worked really hard to get good at writing. It's just cool that I wrote it because I really like it. And if I read it from somebody else, I would think it was good. Just on a prose level and then also just on a scene level. I like that we introduce the boys and I feel like it does a good job of setting up the tone of the story and kind of foreshadowing what is to come. So yeah, I finished that whole vignette too. It was like mostly done already, but I finished it. So it feels good, making some decisions and just I'm just going to trust myself and just do what I think is best because I can wonder and like doubt it forever, but then it's never going to get done. So like I just need to write it and if it doesn't work out, I will be very sad, but like I will just write another book and we'll figure it out from there. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you subscribe, I will put you in the acknowledgments of my book. And I would never lie. That's a promise. I promise. I hope it was filming. Wait, moment of truth. Was it filming? Oh, it was.